I'm James Hogan.
I'm Ben Pendery. Welcome to Cullowhee and the June edition of Western Wednesdays. James.
Ben.
4 tournament titles, 2 individual wins, 8 top 3s, 13 top 5s, 24 top 10s, 3 records broken, 5 golfers of the week, 2 golfers of the month, a third-place team finish, 3 all-conference, 1 freshman of the year, and the Southern Conference Coach of the Year, the WCU women's golf team. Oh my gosh, where do you start?
You know, first of all, thank you for reading off all those stats, because it took me like 20 minutes to write them all down, and you found it on like one post.
You want to find them on Instagram at Catamount W Golf. Catamount W Golf. Look them up on the Insta.
What I love about this golf program is how incredibly successful they are, but how incredibly modest they are. You would think that a program that successful, and this was like one of the best seasons in women's golf history, right? Is that on your list?
It is, and it's right down here at the bottom, which was kind of bearing the lead. This is their postseason invitation to the NGI, a season-long goal for them, getting invited to play amongst several Power 5 conference schools. Just a really, really amazing season for the women's golf.
An amazing season, an amazing team. You would think that a team that successful, they would show up with like, stretched limousines and, an entourage, and they would have, for goodness sakes, they have people who carry their bags around, like their caddies would precede them and in their coveralls. But no, these people just walked among us like regular human beings.
They've walked among us all year, and they've gone about their business and done it in a way that has brought just extreme pride to the team and from alumni who have followed them. They've done an amazing job engaging supporters. You had the chance to sit down with Coach Gunter and Senior Victoria Ladd, and it's been it was an awesome interview. And so I'm thrilled that we get a chance to show and to allow our Western Wednesdays folks to give a listen and a watch to it.
That is all of which is to say, yes, today's episode is with Courtney Gunter. She is the 7th head coach in WC history for the women's golf program. And Courtney, by the way, first of all, golfers just by nature, I think, are quiet people. And I joke that at the beginning we should have recorded this podcast in pure golf. Pendry approaching the microphone.
Quiet, please.
It's
quiet.
Yeah, he's got a good read on this lie, I think. No, so they're just by nature kind of quiet, conservative speakers. They don't waste words, and because you don't see a lot of loud mouths on a golf course, I guess, or you don't want to see a lot of.
You don't want to see a lot of loudmouths on the golf course. I think that this team, though, would love for anyone to come out and join them on the course. One of the interesting things about this golf team, you think about all the other sports here at Western, these student athletes get to go to class, get out of class, go to their locker room, and then go to their court, go to their field, go to the gym, go to the track, go to wherever they need to go right here on campus and get their work done. This team goes to class, then has to meet up, get on a bus, and then travel 20, 30, 45 minutes just to practice.
Just to practice.
Yeah,
it's a multi-hour affair, getting to and from practice, going to tournaments. We talked about this a little bit in the interview, actually. It's not like in the Southern Conference where the football team goes to our Southern Conference opponents and they all have football fields. Well, none of us have golf courses. So you don't necessarily go around the conference and play at their home golf course or these tournaments are all over the nation. Frequently, it's not uncommon, I should say, for the women's golf team at Western to not see a Southern Conference opponent until the tournament, the Southern Conference tournament at the end of the season. And so it's just a very different kind of sport than some of our other Division I programs here. But it's led by Courtney Gunter. Courtney is a phenomenal golfer herself. First of all, this is season 6 for her, I believe. She came in 2018. That was her first season. She played at Chapel Hill. where they had a pair of NCAA championships when she was on the team. And Courtney will stress it's a team sport, right? It was not Courtney Gunter winning the NCAA championship. It was the Chapel Hill team. But she was part of that team. She went on to be an assistant coach at East Carolina and Coastal Carolina. And actually all 3 seasons she was with ECU, she helped that program reach the NCAA regionals for women's golf. So a great pedigree, strong background. She knows what she's doing on the course. She's the golf director at Bear Lake up here. I don't know, folks, if you're listening, if you've had a chance to go up to Bear Lake. Ben, you've been up there.
It takes a while. Again, it's a place where our team gets to practice. But I mean, once you've started your journey south from campus, you're heading towards Cashers, and then you hang a left, and then you just keep going. It is out there a ways, but you've got an amazing facility, 9-hole facility with membership. It's a private club, but the rest of us can go and take a look at it if we'd like to. But they'd love to have you up there for rentals. And so Bear Lake has also been a great supporter of Catamount Athletics and WCU since they've been around. So a beautiful, beautiful venue they've got for golf, and they're lucky to have Courtney with them as well.
They sure are. And so Courtney gets here in 2018. She recruits 2 people, and one of those is Victoria Ladd. Victoria comes from Greensboro. She went to Northern Guilford High School. She was a sports management major, and she comes in and very quickly finds her place on this team. And by finds her place, and we'll talk about this, Ben, in the interview as well. Courtney is a very team forward, team driven, positive culture environment person. Like Courtney Gunter wants Western's women's golf program to be known for graduating good human beings as well as just championship level golfers, which I really admire personally. I think it's that's a very Cullowhee kind of thing. And Victoria comes in and finds her spot there. She gets top 10 finishes. She plays all 4 fall tournaments this year, her senior year. Last year, she won the SoCon Commissioner's Medal. She's an All-American scholar with the WGCA. She's a multiple academic All-SoCon honor roll recipient. I mean, she is off the course, absolutely top-notch student, and now a newly minted member of the Catamount alumni family, which was, I think she may be the youngest young alumna that we've had on Western Wednesdays.
It was, I think it's interesting when the team was invited to go out to Arizona to play in this postseason tournament. The story was relayed to us that they asked the women, are you ready to go? Because it was going to be missing graduation for a couple of them, and they said, absolutely, the team, we need to go, but we're going to miss getting our picture with the chancellor, right? And so they were able to organize. Coach Gunter was able to organize with Chancellor Brown to come over and meet them before the team headed off to hand the women their diplomas for graduation. And that was one of the most important things for those students. I mean, you can't. I think that you've got an amazing team here, an amazing sport in women's golf that is. I think you said it, James. It's so reflective of Western and of the personality and the culture that we have here, what our athletics department, the values that they're trying to instill, and then what we're trying to instill in all of our students. And so what it means to be a Catamount, what it means to be a part of this community. And this team truly, truly does reflect that.
So I want to give a little bit of context to this interview, particularly if you're watching it on YouTube, but if you're listening to it as well. What better place to talk to 2 women's golfers than at a minor league baseball game? We were at McCormick Field in Asheville, North Carolina, at the home of the Asheville Tourists. Ben, you were a tourist fan. You showed up with a hat and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Tourists have had a long history of success in their division and in their conference, and so you got great baseball. McCormick Field. If you haven't been, please make time to get there. It is the longest. I've heard this. Somebody's going to have to fact check this. We'll put it in the show notes. It's the longest how do you say it? It's the longest continually used field in the minor leagues in professional baseball.
Yeah.
And so the field that is there, the McCormick Field, is the longest continually serving field in professional baseball.
Also in the movie Bull Durham.
That's right.
It was a set for Bull Durham. If you're old enough to remember that great baseball film, so we were out there with what we call our Gold alumni, graduates of the last decade. We had almost 200 Gold alumni, and some we don't really card at these Gold alumni events. We don't really necessarily check to make sure, but we had a great group, and Courtney and Victoria were happy to come out. Victoria, a truly qualified Gold alumna, out there at McCormick Field. So we set up right in the middle of our alumni event, which was great fun. You don't get to see the baseball game behind us because the tourists were like, don't put us on TV. They weren't exactly sure what we were doing at first. They're not used to people showing up and doing a podcast in the middle of their corporate event or something. But
well, they've been great partners, and so go see the tourists. Maybe this will help.
Yeah, it's Asheville tourists. And then also, this is the first time we've ever done one of these where Paws, the mascot, totally bombs the interview. I just want to point out that Paws is nonverbal. Which makes for a challenging interview when you're thinking about a podcast. So
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
It did. It really did. But you had Paws, and then you had oh gosh, I just blanked on the name of the.
He looks like Mr. Met.
He does look like Mr. Met.
Giant baseball for a head. I don't know if he made the cut.
I'm a terrible fan.
We'll put they have two. They have two.
They have two that roam around. Mascots. You're exactly right.
One is a teddy bear. Yeah. Mr. Moon.
Good. Well
Mr.
done.
Moon. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Sam.
Mr. Moon came by as well and grabbed my head. It was strange. I didn't know quite what it was, but
two more fun things about the women's golf team. And so I want to say 3.68 team GPA.
God, that was better than my GPA.
Absolutely remarkable. As a team, 3.68. And for the golfers that are listening to this and watching this, seriously, get on their Instagram because they got a behind the scenes look at Ping, at Ping headquarters.
Yeah.
And so our assistant athletic director Julie Miller had a contact out in Arizona. She's the sports supervisor for women's golf. She was able to get the team behind the scenes. There's a great little video of the guy at Ping opening the vault.
Oh my gosh!
The Ping putters, and and you can hear the team like. It's like it's really, really cool, and so check that out. But 3.68 GPA, and definitely give the women's golf team a follow because they're doing great things.
At Catamount W Golf.
Catamount W Golf on Instagram.
Yeah. Great follow, great program. They're clearly doing great things. And also, before I forget, I do want to make sure, because Ben and I do work with the advancement division here at WCU, to say thank you. A lot of donors stepped up to help that team get to Arizona for their very first postseason invitational tournament. And the fact that they were able to go, that was all made possible by generous donors who chipped in and helped raise thousands of dollars.
We're up to, since that campaign posted, we've raised over $7,500 to support the team. And so that link is still up as well at wegive.wcu.edu. So take a look at that, and we'll put the link for that in the show notes too. I keep saying show notes because I think it's like the cool swag, and Sam just looks at me like, dude, we don't do show notes.
We can start. We can have show notes.
We should totally do show notes. It's like footnotes. Oh my gosh. I was a history major, and so that's how you padded your papers when you were a history major.
Footnotes.
Dr. Szabo, Dr. Durando, they don't know this. It was regular that just use the footnotes. Like, hey, I need to add 37 lines of this long quote that I don't really want to put in the text. I'll just stick it in a footnote.
Right.
I'm telling y'all, footnotes are where it's at. And
English
show notes
majors, they figured this out. They're like, dude, works cited. It goes at the end, and we don't count those pages.
See. That's why I was a history major.
Yeah.
That is one of many reasons why I was a history major.
All right, enough with the humanities. Let's get out to McCormick Field and our interview with Courtney and Victoria. Courtney Gunter, Victoria Ladd, thank you so much for being out here at McCormick Field at our first Gold alumni event, maybe ever here at the Asheville Tourist. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, so you guys just got back into town.
We did.
Women's golf, postseason play, Arizona. Where in Arizona?
We were out in Maricopa near Phoenix, Arizona, playing at Auction Southern Dunes. It was, so this was the inaugural National Golf Invitational. This is the first postseason event that they've ever had.
First postseason event. How many teams were represented at that tournament?
There were 10.
10 teams. And were they from all across the country or the Southeast or?
Yeah, we had schools from California, up north, Penn State, all the way out east, all over the place, yeah.
Victoria, you traveled with the team?
Yes, sir.
First, probably not first out-of-state tournament. I know you guys played the SoCon down in Charleston, was it?
Hilton Head.
Or Hilton Head, that's right, Hilton Head. And I know you guys get it all over. Furthest maybe that you've traveled for a golf tournament in your collegiate career?
Vegas was a little farther.
Yeah, Vegas.
Oh, you went to
yeah.
Vegas.
I think Vegas was farther.
I need to look at the
Yeah,
map.
we did
Yeah.
do that in March, yeah.
So talk about real quick for folks who may not know about our women's golf program, how much of that is pick up and go several states away?
All of it.
All of it.
Basically. What do we have, like 3
We
in-state?
play, yeah, I think 2 or 3 we played in North Carolina, some in South Carolina, but we do travel out west and down south quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to do that to get to different competition.
And so it's not just, I think some people might think, oh, it's SoCon golf. So like you go and play at Furman and then you go and you play. Yeah, no, it's all over the country
Yeah, sometimes we won't see people in our conference until conference.
until
so.
the conference tournament. And how competitive is that conference right now?
It's hot.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Furman made it. Furman, obviously, they won SoCon, but they played in regionals. Yeah, we have a really strong conference. There's at least 4 or 5 teams that could win in a year.
So, Victoria, I want to just pause for a second and say one of our newest alumni here, class of 2023, and I flipped my page over here. Sports management as your major. Now you're a graduate of WCU. I want to just, first of all, say congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
welcome to the family. We have a great group here tonight, and it's really exciting to be out here. We have almost 200 folks who have come out to our gold event. You weren't able to walk at commencement.
Yeah, I was not. I was in Arizona, so we had our own little graduation party.
Yeah.
And I took some graduation photos there, so that was cool.
That's fun. Did you bring your gown out to the?
I did bring the gown and all my cords and everything. So.
Oh, that's great. And
Yeah.
like, was it like out on the 18th green or something, or did you make her walk across the fairway to you, or?
I did threaten her to have her play in her cap one day, but we did not end up doing that.
Is that legal? Can you play in a
I
mortarboard?
guess you can do whatever you want.
Good.
Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. What does it feel like to be a graduate now? Any different?
Not yet. Maybe next year will feel different, but as for now, I'm still pretty fresh on the scene, so.
And
Not
how
yet.
many seniors on the team this year?
Well, we had 2 seniors, but Victoria's not done playing
You're
yet.
not done. You have
so
another
we just
year.
had 1 that left.
Okay. So one of 2 seniors. And what does it mean to be able to come back to Western as a graduate student?
I'm beyond excited just to stay and play with Coach another year. I'm just so excited to stay and see what else we can do in the next year.
Courtney, I've heard a lot about your team, and you have a lot of fans around campus who really appreciate what you and what your team have been able to accomplish, both as golfers, but also like as the kind of team that you put together. It sounds like it's a very intentional culture, and then there are a lot of values that you talk about and that you share as a team. And I was wondering, first of all, if you could just talk a little bit about what that is, what that's like for you.
Yeah, so when I came in 5 seasons ago, the culture was pretty bad to say the least, so I knew that was what I had to focus on. And honestly, Victoria and Madison, they were my first 2 recruits.
And Madison's the other senior.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were my first 2 recruits. So they came in the second year I was here, and they had a huge part in building that culture with me. I mean, if they didn't buy in, nobody else would have after them. So they're just as much a part of it as I am.
How would you describe that culture? And maybe I should ask you from your perspective first, and then to see how that matches up.
I feel like we're all just such good like friends and like we love to support each other, even if it's not like golf related things. We like to do things like outside of golf together, so that just builds a better chemistry on the course. Yeah, they're all my besties.
Right. Yeah.
So my two big things. One is that we're team first team.
Yep.
I mean, it sounds silly, but golf is such an individual sport in all other areas.
Right.
So for us to play as a team, any of them could win a tournament any week, and they don't care if they may not play bad, but the team does well, and that goes a long way. And then the other thing is what she said. If they're having a good time, they're more likely to play well because they're enjoying themselves. So we try to have a good time.
So I'm glad you brought that up, because I definitely wanted to talk about that. So golf is definitely, a lot of times we think of it as an individual sport, right? Because when we watch PGA Tour pros on television, or LPGA, or most any televised golf, we're looking at individual scores, right? There's one name up there, and you're seeing it as a representation of an individual. But that's not always the case in collegiate golf. And so how do you work with that dynamic? And what does it really feel like, when you're out there and you're trying to play as a team?
I'll say, like, if I'm having a bad day, I'm just hoping my teammates are playing better than I am. You obviously still have to play your best just in case someone else isn't having a good day as well. So I'm continuously thinking about them while I'm playing and hoping they're playing their best so the team can do well.
Does that is that something that helps? So I'm going to probably misquote it or get an approximation. Golf is the game that's really played between your two ears, right? Like when you're trying to sharpen that mental focus and you're trying to get back to your game. Thinking about the team, is that something that helps you sort of relax and get back into that focus?
I think so. I don't know.
Well, I think that also goes back to the team this is. They know that if they have a bad day, the chances are their teammates are going to make up for them.
Yeah.
And somebody else might have a bad day the next day, and you may go back to playing good the next day. So they know they can count on each other. And then it's just like the camaraderie out there. They know the teammate in front of them or behind them is cheering them on. And
when you're on the course at a collegiate tournament, how aware are you of where your team is and how they're performing? Is that something that you're able to keep track of on your phone, or is there a big leaderboard, at the turn and you check in there? What does that look like?
Well, we have to leave our phone in the van,
okay.
So we're unable to see any of the scoring until we're done for the day. But Coach, on the other hand,
you can tell him.
Sometimes she'll swear she won't look at it, but then halfway through you'll ask and she'll say, "Yeah, I took a peek. Yeah, I couldn't help myself."
Yeah, it's hard, So I know what they're doing most of the time. Lately I've tried to just put it away because it stresses me out for no reason. Whether we're doing good or bad, I get stressed out.
Sure.
But I know what they're doing, but I don't let them know unless they really want to know, and I know they can handle it, but they don't,
So you know how you're doing. You know how many strokes you have on for the match, and you're keeping a scorecard, but you don't know necessarily how the rest of the field is doing.
Right.
But and I just want to also qualify when you say when I'm having a bad day is like what? Because you guys,
Are you asking score-wise or mental game or?
You're over par.
A number with an 8 that in the front?
A number with an 8. Do you know how happy I would be? So first of all, I just want to say, anyone with a last name Hogan has just, God has put pressure on your shoulders to play golf well, and I have failed miserably at this, right? Any number that doesn't start with a 1 is a number that I'm really happy with. So a number that starts with an 8, I would be beside myself in fits of joy. I would be rolling on the ground and chucking my clubs everywhere. So let's just qualify that first of all. A bad day is James Hogan's best day ever. It is the day that he will go home and write about in his journal, a day that he will tell his children about, and they will say, "Dad, we know, we've heard it. We've heard it." So that's a bad day for you. But what is a good day?
Well, it's a good round for
A
you.
good day. I mean,
What was your best round this year?
I don't even know.
70?
Was it?
70 or 71, probably.
Okay, 70 or 71.
Okay, you know
But-
that, right? Like, you've got that number. You know that number, right?
Some people on this team care
Yeah.
keep track of their score more than others.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I wanted to ask you about is a little bit about golf is life, in a sense, right? You know, the skills that you can learn on the course can translate later in life. One of those things is about celebrating wins. One of those things is about toughing through adversity. For me, there's, you know, like you muff the shot, right? Like for me. For you, it's I'm 10 feet away from the pin and I wanted to be 3 feet. But still, like, you know, like you didn't hit the shot that you wanted, but you now have to go up in front of God and everybody, and you have to hit the next shot. And life hands you a lot of situations like that. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever thought about that.
That's a great analogy, James.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm the English major. I'm good
Wow.
for the analogies. No, but, you know, I don't know if that's something you talk about as a coach with your team or not, but it struck me that, like, the mental toughness of a golfer is one of the things that you can't lift a weight and build mental toughness. That acuity and that perseverance, that persistence, it's something that you have to develop some other way. I'm curious how you develop that. If that's something you did on your own, if that's something that just came along.
I'm definitely going to say I'm not 100% good at it all the time, but you have your days where you're 100% like mentally tough, and then you have your days where you're not. I think just over time you go through like situations on the course at least that will build you up, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think whether they know it or not, they are building those skills because if you see like some of the girls that have graduated the last few years, they've gone on to get really good jobs and be really good humans, and that's all I want for them. You know, we're gonna be competitive while they're here and try to win, but if they can learn some stuff and be good humans when they leave here, that's what's important.
So, fifth season, you've got a handful of alumni out there who are women's golf alumni under head coach Courtney Gunter.
We do have a few now, yes, finally.
How do you keep in touch with them?
Well, just 3 weekends ago, we went, me, Victoria, and 2 other girls that are current members of the team went to one of their weddings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they all stay in touch. You know, I'll catch up with them from time to time, but it's still a close-knit group, and I'm trying to get them involved. They ask me all the time, when are we going to do an alumni match, or when are we going to do this? So they're involved. They want to be involved.
Where's Stacy Miller?
Yeah.
We're gonna put together the inaugural women's golf alumni tournament.
Yeah.
Championship. That would be a lot of fun to do. Now I have to ask, like, when you show up at these weddings, do you take the golf van? Like,
We did not.
No.
Somebody asked me a few days after, like, did you take the van? I was like, I didn't even think about that.
That's pretty
No, we did
sweet.
not.
So you keep in touch with the alumni. You build this cohesive culture with your team. One of those characteristics that I've heard about too is gratitude, and and because we work in advancement, I happen to know that everybody on your team signs thank you notes. Why is that?
I think it goes a long way.
Yeah.
You know, and they roll their eyes sometimes when I hand them a huge stack of cards. We just went on a trip. The trip we just went on, we had to fundraise for it. I brought 50 thank you cards with me, and they had to sign 50 thank you cards by the end of that trip. But it teaches them something, whether they know it or not. Madison, she just graduated. She's leaving the university. She wrote personal thank you cards to everyone in the athletic department that had an impact on her. And then I have them coming to me saying that really meant a lot to me. And so they roll their eyes about thank you cards, but, you know, it goes a long way, and it, you know, so.
I mean, I don't mind doing it. I know the people who receive them appreciate it. So at the end of the day, it's worth it.
So, I think some people have the perception that Division I sports, if you're a D1 athlete, you live this life of luxury, and like they carry you around campus on a chair. And it's a Mercedes van, right? Like it's a
Mercedes van.
It's a Mercedes. So you have your Benz and you roll up and your motor coach.
It's pretty old.
But there's you get on your small private jet and they serve you
we do.
champagne.
Yes.
And in particularly golf, golf is an elite sport. It is a sport where you typically have to have means to play. So how does that translate to the college experience? Because I'm confident that a lot of golf programs out there aren't sitting on $100 million in funding to have their own course or to have that private jet.
Yeah. I could see from like another person's perspective, it probably looks like we're living the high life, but we don't have a practice facility that's close by. Like we have to drive 30 minutes to practice. So it is
30 minutes. So that's really an hour round trip.
Well, and that's just to practice. If we're going to play somewhere decent, we're in the van for an hour or more just to get there and then coming back home. There's some days we leave campus at 12 and don't get home till 8:30.
And that's just to go out and practice. That's not even to compete. That's just we need to practice. Whereas other teams, it's I'm going to walk across campus to the field. Yeah. And, there are some alumni who, oh my gosh, Pause is
Pause.
here. Holy Moses. Pause.
Celebrity.
Pause. Yeah. What is up? We have Pause, the mascot, who it's going to be strange to have him on a podcast, but it works. Yeah. This is brilliant. I love this. Pause, the mascot here at McCormick Field.
All right.
We're talking golf, Pause. He won't need a microphone. Pause. I have to ask, are you a scratch golfer? Do you have a handicap? Or are you okay? Oh, he's a baseball player. Well, we were at a baseball game. A basketball player as well. A multi-sport athlete.
Running.
Javelin or competitive frisbee. Football. Yes. Seen you on the football field. Swimmer. I don't even know if we have swimming. But it works. Yeah. Multi-sport athlete.
I did see Pause in the pool.
Pause. Yeah, I didn't know cats liked water. But golf. That's really what we're talking about here. We have our head golf coach. We have a recent graduate talking about our women's golf program. So on a par 3, I bet Pause is pretty good. Probably. And the short game, exceptional. Except the only thing you have to worry about, the sand traps. Pause gets a little bit messy sometimes in the sand trap. That's embarrassing.
No. Yeah, that is embarrassing.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up.
That's too good.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Got a little off track there.
We're talking about gratitude. We're talking about D1. You have to drive an hour sometimes just to practice. You can't just walk across campus. I was going to say, when I looked up and saw a giant cat, I was going to say some alumni might remember we used to have a driving range on campus. Not a giant driving range. I'm sure that you could outdrive it. But we had a driving range down where the Greek village is. And I think there was even like kind of a pitch and putt area. I don't know if that's down there anymore, but some people will say, well, Western had a golf course. You had the driving range. You had the pitch and putt.
Well, we are using that same area, part of it,
to
build a new short game facility. We're trying to.
That's the idea.
The goal.
Yeah. So let's talk about what a short game facility looks like.
We're going to have, it's going to be mostly for wedges, chipping, putting, but we're going to have a huge net so you can also hit full shots and see where it flies.
So you'll have some hitting bays.
Yeah. We'll be able to hit outside, inside. But mostly just to do some wedges and short game. That's where the scoring comes from anyway. So.
And that can save a lot of time on the road, a lot of time out of or off campus, I should say.
Big time.
A really important thing for you guys in terms of facilities and something that will. So I haven't written it down, but how do you balance, or how did you balance, I should say, that the academic demands of being a college student and the in-season demands and out-of-season demands, for that matter?
Yeah. A lot of time management, of course. I typically tried to get everything done before we were on the road, just so it's one less thing to worry about while you're playing. And then just on like weekdays, sometimes I would go to study hall. I found myself
voluntarily.
Yeah, voluntarily. Just to try and get things done ahead of time, so I wouldn't have to worry about them on the weekends when we're playing and stuff.
So I never even thought about that. Like, it would seem to be like paralyzing to be standing on the green. You're looking at your putt. You're trying to read the putt, and it's like, oh God, I've got a chemistry exam.
Yeah.
You know, like that would be it. I would just would take the putter and walk off the course.
Have to go back to the hotel and write a paper.
That's
great.
Right.
Just what I want to do.
Yeah, so
Did it feel different this last tournament? You didn't have any work to do?
It felt so different. I was literally bored, though. I was bored.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I don't have a paper to write.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'd never thought of that until just now. I have just a few more questions, and really it starts with, what do you want to be when you grow up? Now that you have your college degree, you're a Division I athlete, you've got a year of eligibility left, you're going to get a master's degree from Western.
Yeah.
What's the goal?
Well, that's a big question. Well, I hope to work in college athletics. I don't have a particular college, but I want to be like an academic support counselor, so working with athletes and just helping them in any way I can.
And to you, from your perspective, what's some of the most important support that you can provide to a student athlete?
I guess personally, just like Miss Ashley has always been there this past year for any questions. So like, I want to be like a Miss Ashley.
So tell our audience about Miss Ashley.
Okay. Well, Miss Ashley works in study hall, and she's just always there for questions when you have them. So like this past fall, I was applying to MBA or get my master's. So she helped me through that process and helped me with all the applications and letters of recommendation and all that. So she's just the person you go to for any questions, any support.
Yeah. And what did it mean to have that resource available to you?
I probably would have been clueless without her.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, she's gotten me to where I am now, so.
Yeah. That's very cool. And it's very cool that you want to kind of pay it forward, if you will, as a support person as well. And Courtney, we're out of season now. We're summertime. Even though it's May, it doesn't really feel like summer here today. It's chilly and kind of cloudy, although the sun's kind of breaking through. Mm-hmm. What are you looking forward to in the next academic year, the 23-24 academic year, and the season that you have ahead of you?
I am looking forward to having almost everybody back.
Yeah.
We only lost one player. She was a good player, but the rest of the team's coming back. And I feel like we have a little bit of unfinished business. We had a really good season, but I feel like we could have done even more. I think maybe they think that too, hopefully.
It was a great season.
Yeah.
It was a school record season, right?
It was, yeah.
Talk about that. Let's hear more about that.
It was fun. I mean, it was like with the very first tournament we played in, I remember thinking to myself, well, if we finish like top 5 here, I'd be happy. I'd be content. We won it. We won the next one. We won the third one. It was like, we were like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So I knew we were going to be good this year. I didn't know we were going to be that good. So it was fun, and I think we can keep it rolling next year.
What was it like coaching a team that won 3 championships in a row? Was it just go, do it? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I didn't really do much. I don't know. It was, we were just having a good time. I mean, it was fun to be around. Like, competing was fun.
Yeah.
You know,
you're playing loose.
Not every single person had a good round every day.
Sure.
But we were just having a good time, enjoying it. We enjoyed traveling those few months, especially. I mean, the 4th tournament we finished 2nd. You would have thought the world ended. You know, It's like, guys, we did fine. Like, we finished 2nd. Like, it's okay. You know.
Yeah.
Your first-year students are like, we don't win them all. I thought we won them all.
I gotta say this. One of our players' parents at the end of
say it.
Oh, you can say it.
No, you got it.
So one of our players' parents that was at that fourth tournament with us, we finished the round. We came in. She says, "Well, the party's over."
That's it. I'm done.
So,
oh well.
But yeah, it was a good season for sure.
And again, I just want to stress, when you're out there, it's not necessarily like the Citadel that you're playing against. It's schools from all over the country that you're playing against. Winning 3 championships in a row, 3 tournaments in a row.
Yeah.
And competing with some really serious schools out there.
Yeah, those first 3 tournaments, this is a kind of a cool fact. I don't think we saw a team at more than one event. I think we played different teams at every single tournament. So, we got a lot of wins those first 3. We saw a lot of teams, some good teams.
Yeah. And before I forget to ask you about it, you're a collegiate golfer yourself, Courtney. I know that you had a great career at Chapel Hill.
It was okay.
Now, don't be modest here. You had a great career.
My team was good.
We had a great team.
We had a great team.
Well, okay. That. And how does your experience factor into what it is that you're trying to do here at WCU?
I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Carolina. We had a great time. Like, I enjoyed all my teammates, and we had fun.
Yeah.
We enjoyed traveling together. We enjoyed hanging out outside of practice and competition. And so some of them are still some of my best friends to this day. So having that experience, that's what I want for them. I also know what they're going through. Like, she talking about the time management and stuff. Like, I can relate to that because I was there. So, I know what they're going through.
Yeah. Have you had to face Chapel Hill in a tournament?
I think we've played them at some point. This was several years ago, probably. But we usually don't. No.
When that happens, against them. You will root against them. Yeah, there's no question about that. But when you beat them, like, is it going to be a?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And we can all agree that beating Duke would be like the height of it, right?
Oh God, yeah.
That would be
beating them in anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. So first time playing postseason at the inaugural National Invitational, and you've also got a tournament to look forward to in the next year, and it's not in the United States. You want to talk about that?
It's in Japan.
Oh my gosh. All right, so tell me the story. How on earth is a team from Cullowhee, North Carolina going to go play golf in Japan?
So I was upstairs in Ramsey, and Kyle Pfeiffer said, "Courtney, do you want to go play in Japan?" And I was like, "Yeah, Kyle, I want to go play in Japan. What are you
exactly
talking about?" He's like, "No, I'm serious." He's like, "We have a chance to take the team to Japan." I was like, "Okay, that'd be great, but I don't have that kind of money." He said, "No, most of it's going to be paid for." I was like, "Sign us up. Let's go right now."
Oh my gosh.
So apparently Western has some exchange students from Japan. They have some connection there to somebody who used to be at Western. Now they're back in Japan. And this company over there wants to do this tournament where a bunch of schools from a bunch of different countries play together. And little old Western Carolina was one of those 2 schools from the U.S.
We may be small, but we are mighty.
Yes.
And soon to be internationally known as women's golfers. So the answer is yes. So you're going to Japan. When's that trip going to happen?
It's the first week of September.
The first week. So this is going to be out of season for you, or I guess preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah, because your season is in
it usually starts mid-September.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So and where in Japan?
Sapporo.
Okay. So big trip. Do you take the entire team? Or most of the team?
We're trying to take the whole team.
Yeah. And
we are trying to spend an extra day in Tokyo.
Okay. What do you need to make that happen?
We need some help.
Yeah.
Financially.
How does that break down? Is that, need help getting students across on the trip or to extend the trip? It's a little bit extra per student, or do you know yet?
Yeah, we just need enough to cover for probably 1, maybe 2 extra players to go. So airfare and food, lodging, that kind of thing. And then for the whole team to spend an extra day in Tokyo, just be extra lodging for a day.
So you can make a gift directly to women's golf? and you can make a gift that you can designate to help support this trip as well. And you can do that online. You can go to wcu.edu. Right at the very top, there's a giving link. You can make that gift. You can, if you don't see it on there, you can hit other and put women's golf or the women's golf Japan trip, and that can help support the program there to help get some of those students across the Pacific Ocean all the way to Japan. Courtney, Victoria, thank you. Pause. Courtney, Victoria, thank you so much for the time. Thank you for coming out here to this baseball game here for our first Gold event. Congratulations again. Congratulations on a great season. And we appreciate you guys. Go Cats.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go
Thanks.
Cats.
Welcome back. What an amazing interview. James did a terrific job talking with Courtney, Coach Gunter, and Victoria Ladd, our youngest of the young alumni. Young alumni. Alumni is plural for female. I'm here, luckily, with the Director of Alumni Engagement, Stacy Miller. Stacy, thanks so much for giving us a little bit of your time. We just had the chance to listen to a really cool interview that James Hogan did with Courtney Gunter and Victoria Ladd. We heard about the golf team's upcoming trip to Japan.
Oh, what a SoCon tournament. What a week.
It's been pretty amazing. And so you've got some pretty exciting things happening in Catamount country as well, right?
We absolutely do. The alumni engagement team is busy. Alumni Nation is busy. They are coming out. They are joining us and having a great time. We just finished up in Wilmington. We had a great group there in Wilmington meeting us out in the coastal area of North Carolina.
Your neck of the woods.
Night. That's right. My neck of the woods, 252.
Well, I got to say thank you on behalf of Catamount Nation. I think you actually led the search committee that brought Coach Gunter to WCU. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Good work.
Did.
Well
That's
done.
Right. That's right. I'll take that one all day.
You get extra. You get
Great
extra
work.
bennies for any Coach of the Year titles, right?
That's right.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
I will wait for that.
Commission.
that exactly that bonus to come my way.
So we had a great trip to Wilmington, like you said last week. Had a great event there. How can folks find out about other events we've got going on in Catamount country?
Sure thing. As always, follow our social media accounts. Check out our website, alumni.wcu.edu. But I'll fill you in on a couple of events we've got coming up this summer. We are kicking off June with our WCU Alumni Night with the Greensboro Grasshoppers. So all of our Triad Catamounts, come on out and join us. That is June 23rd, and we've got a 6:30 first pitch. We're going to be in the Sunbrella Shade Zone. So for our alumni and friends who have joined us for that event before, you know exactly where we are. But we'll be out in the outfield in the Sunbrella Shade Zone. We'll have a good baseball game buffet and hopefully a good game on tap. That'll be a good time to share stories, hear updates of what's going on in Cullowhee, and spend some time together. And July is very busy.
Big July.
We've got a big July. We've got our summer send-offs happening. And so would love to share more information about those with anyone, interested across the state and the region. We're down in Atlanta. But then I can't forget to mention the Purple and Gold reunion. The last weekend of July, July 28th through the 30th, we are going to be celebrating our 50th reunion Cats. So our class of 1973. And this year, we're also going to be celebrating our teaching fellows. So we're inviting our teaching fellows back to join us for that event. We've got a lot of exciting events taking place. We will take a campus tour, see our new building, see our new dorm. We'll hear from Chancellor Brown on updates from Cullowhee and things to be excited about for the upcoming year. And we've got the Sophisticats coming to join us Saturday night. So we're excited about that, excited about the fun that we'll be having that week, and looking forward to seeing lots of Catamounts back for that.
If you haven't had a chance to hear the Sophisticats, then you want to get here just for that.
Absolutely.
And so Tim and crew, they do an amazing job. And so, Stacy, thanks so much for giving us a little bit of your time today and telling us about everything going on in Catamount country. Everyone, make sure to take a look at alumni.wcu.edu. You've done it again. You've spent a perfectly good bit of your time listening to Western Wednesdays, and we're grateful to have your support. Take a look at alumni.wcu.edu and make sure you tune in, click like and subscribe on YouTube or any of your podcast apps, and we'll look forward to having you here next month for the next edition of Western Wednesdays. Thanks so much. Go Cats.